What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, and today I'm going to be dropping part 1, 2, 3, and 4 of my Retargeting 101 series. I think it's super important you guys focus on retargeting, and I saw not too many people saw the last videos, or a lot of people saw part 1, but they didn't see part 3 or even part 4. So I'm just putting them all together for you in this one video. Going to be a long one, but I think it's going to be super valuable to have it all in one video, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so we're in my computer now. Um, so Retargeting 101, this is a series that I'm starting up. So let's just get into this. This is part 1. So in this video, we're just gonna be covering like the basics, like, trying to get you to understand like why people retarget, stuff like that. So essentially, while you're running ads, you're gonna be building up an audience of warm traffic. Like whether you know it or not, you're gonna have access to remarket to the people who have already clicked on your website. They've already engaged with your page, whatever it is, as long as you have your pixel installed. So while you're just advertising normally, you're already building an audience. You already have people who have seen your brand at least once that you can remarket to, upsell, whatever it is. And essentially, retargeting just allows you to show ads to those people. So, and that's what we call retargeting. Like, let's say you've been running ads for a while, whether you have a winning product or not. Maybe you want to run like a carousel ad to absolutely everybody, and just give them the option of which one they want to choose. So, like that sort of thing. So, here's 3 reasons why it's considered more effective. They've already shown the slightest interest in what you do or what you sell. So, if you're just a general store, you might just have a bunch of data for random products, but that also means that you have data for people who are interested in online shopping, right? So they're interested in what you do. So this is just naturally like a lot higher quality than, cold targeting on Facebook. And, one of the main reasons is, number 2, Facebook already has a pre-made list of people to show your ad to. So it's usually really cheaper, and it usually optimizes better because you're basically telling Facebook, I want you to show ads to John, I want you to show ads to John, Joe, and Noah. You're not telling them go show ads to that random group of people over there. So it already knows who to show the ads to. So usually it optimizes better, and it's usually a little bit cheaper, like in terms of like reach and CPP and all that. And also they usually do a lot better than cold traffic ads, mainly because it's warm traffic. Like they've already seen your brand. It's a lot easier to get somebody to buy like the 7th time that they've seen you rather than like the 1st or 2nd time, which I'm sure you've heard a million times, which is why I'm not going too deep in it. But yeah, those are like the 3 main reasons why, I believe that retargeting is a hell of a lot more effective. And it's definitely something that you should be utilizing, like even if you don't have a winning product yet, or if you do have a winning product, then you need to be, implementing this stuff, and you need to be retargeting from a bunch of different angles. And that's kind of why I'm making this series, because I think that a lot of people, they're doing retargeting, but like deep down, they know that they're not using it to its full potential. Which is an issue, which it basically just means that they're losing money. So for those people, I hope that you guys can learn a lot from this and actually go and implement it. Okay, so different audiences that you can retarget to. So these are just audiences that you're building. So you get an audience of people who are viewing your pages. So that's called a page view audience, and then you have people who are adding the products to their cart. And then you have initiate checkouts, you have purchases, like people who already made a purchase, people who view your videos on Facebook, like from your actual Facebook page. You can make retargeting ads retargeting those people, which those usually do pretty good. And also page and profile engagements, like if somebody likes your page, or they like your post, or they comment on your post, anything like that. So this is a question, which one should you do first and which one does better? Especially, I hear a lot of people asking this because there's so many different things that you can do with retargeting. Really, there's no right or wrong answer. I would test them all, especially like if you're already at a scaled point and you already have a bunch of data stacked up. and you already have the audiences, like I would definitely test every single one of them. But which one do I usually start with? It's usually just basic, page view, retargeting people who visited the page. And then after that, I'll retarget people who add to cart and then initiate checkout. So it's basically abandon cart and abandon checkout page retargeting, and then then you move on to video views and page engagements, and essentially just working your way up the chain. And I believe in part 2 or part 3, not part 2, I actually give like a step-by-step on how to introduce retargeting to your campaigns, like the right way to do it, the way that I do it, you know what I mean? So another question that a lot of people have is like, at what point is the data ready to start retargeting? Honestly, before I go through this, I'm just going to say you really want to start retargeting like as soon as you can. And what I mean by that is like as soon as the audience populates, like you can make the audience, and as soon as it populates, you should start testing it. But if you want to know like a specific number, it's usually around like 200 to 300 link clicks when you can make like a page view audience and have it work pretty good. Video view audiences, I usually don't do it until I hit like 500 to 1,000 views. But like I said, if you're new and you have a new winner, you can really just start it right when the audiences populate. So page and post engagements, it's the same thing, just whenever they populate. So I hope that covers that question for you. So yeah, I really wanted this video to just be a really basic introduction. I'm going to be going more in depth in part 2, but I really wanted this to just be just to help you understand like a little bit of the mindset and like the different audiences, just so that as I move forward with part 2 and part 3, you're not confused when I use certain keywords and certain stuff like that. So, all right, guys, so we're here with part 2 of Retargeting 101. So let's just get right into it. We're going to start off by showing you how to create audiences. Okay, so we're on the audience tab. A lot of this is probably going to be blurred out, but what you want to do is you come up here and you click audiences, and that'll bring you to this page. So we're going to go ahead and click create audience and then custom audience. So right now we're just going to make a basic page view audience. So you're going to be looking at this. Make sure you have the right pixel installed. Change all website visitors to people who visited specific web pages. And then we want to change this to 180 days. This is just like if you're just starting out and you want to retarget the maximum amount of people possible who landed on the page. So you change that to 180 days. And then what you want to do is, I'm not going to show you the Shopify backend for this store, but basically when you make a product, it gives you the main product link, and then it gives you different links for each collection. So if you don't have any products in any collections, you don't have to worry about this. But if you have like numerous collections that the product is in, then you're going to want to grab each link. And you just do that by going to the store and then going to the collection and then clicking the product and then getting the link. So this is the basic product link. So it's just like your domain /product/cool hat. And then this is what a collections one is going to look like. So /collections/bestsellers/product/ and then the name of the product right here, which you got to know we going to do the cool hat. So you just want to come in here, copy that, paste that right there, and then we'll get all these. We'll get all these in there. Okay, so once you get all those in there, this is basically already an audience of people who visited these 3 product pages. So each one is different. You can just put cool hat and it'll work too. But if you have other hats in the store that have the word cool or hat in it, then it'll pick up on that. So the way that I name this is just retargeting PV 180 and then the name of the product. And I have a video on how to name your audiences and stuff on this channel, so you can go check that out. So now I'll show you how to make an add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase custom audience. Essentially the same thing, you just go create custom audience and then website traffic, change this to 180 days. We'll get the links in there, which just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to put one in. But normally you'd put all three. And then what you want to do is you want to click include more, change this one on the bottom here to 180, and then change this up here to all. And that's going to change this right here. So if you take a look at that, it says or now. So it's basically people who visited these pages, or people who were hit with the add to cart. Once we change that, it's now people who visited these pages and people who added it to their cart. So now we have an audience of people who visited these pages and they added it to their cart. So this is how you make an audience of people who added a specific product to their cart. Again, so we'll name it correctly, and this is how you stay organized. And that's the add to cart one done. So to make initiate checkout, it's just literally the same thing over again, and then you just click initiate checkout and then you create, and then same thing for purchase, and then all these other things. So yeah, really important that you change any to all. So that's just one thing that I wanted to make sure that I covered in here. Okay, so I hope you guys understood that. You can drop comments in the comment section below if you have questions about that. Now I'm just going to go into a few slides that I made. How good should it be? Like, what should you expect from your retargeting? Really, I mean, each audience differs. Like, I've seen the cost per purchase on retargeting ads be as low as like 1/10 of the CPP of a cold traffic, but in some cases there's certain retargetings that just don't work at all, sometimes even losing money. So your expectations should be, you should expect it to be profitable at least. Obviously if it's not profitable, don't run it, but there's been many situations where one retargeting wouldn't work and we'll just keep on restarting it and turning it off, and eventually it just takes off. So if it doesn't work for you, make sure that you just keep on retrying it, because I've never seen retargeting not work, but I've seen it not work for a while and then start working after a little bit of retrying it. So how should you approach? If you already have a decently sized audience, I would start creating like 1 to 2 retargeting ads a day, and then after a week or so, you should have already tried them all out. And if you're seeing good results, obviously keep doing it. You can try just starting 1 a day, 1 a day, 3 a day, whatever's going to work for you. Just if you do something and it doesn't work, just make sure that you don't do it again. And if you do something that does work, make sure you do it again the same way. So if you're currently building up your audience, so this is more like people who just found a winning product, or maybe you did Instagram influencers and you have a little bit of data. I would create the audiences, just get them created, and then as soon as they populate, I would start running ads to them. Like as soon as that little thing says green and it says ready, that's when I would start running ads. And if it's not populating, just keep on recreating it like every couple of days until it does populate. So this is a little bit about the creative. So offering a discount versus just retargeting with the same post. There's different things that you can do. You can make a different page post that says you're giving like an extra discount or some money off or whatever if they purchase now. And you're just retargeting people and showing them that. So like it's basically the second time they see it, it's a little bit cheaper for them essentially. It usually does well with like abandoned cart retargeting or like initiate checkout retargeting, just because people were about to pull the trigger and they just didn't have that motivation to go through and purchase. So yeah, I mean, that's what that usually works really well with. But same post retargeting is something that I actually do because it works just as well sometimes. A lot of the retargeting ads are just the same post. And a lot of people don't talk about that because they want to make shit really complicated and stuff, and it just doesn't make any sense. I really learned this out of laziness because it was like, fuck making a new post, but like it actually ended up working really, really well, sometimes better than like offering a discount or something. So just keep that in mind that it doesn't have to be really complicated. Like you can keep it really simple and it'll still work out in your favor. So the mindset behind retargeting, the mindset that you should go in, basically a retargeting audience is just it's just a list of people who took specific actions in result of your marketing and ads, like whether it's influencers, Facebook ads, they're people on your website that get hit with a cookie. So essentially, it allows you to make even more money off of the traffic that you're already driving, and if you're profitable on the front end, then retargeting will make that better because you can make more money on the back end essentially. If somebody visits your website and doesn't buy, they might buy from their retargeting ad. Like maybe they were out and they were just like browsing the website, they added it to their cart, but they left their credit card at home. Things like that happen. And then, they go home and they see the ad again and they're like, oh, okay, I'll buy it now because I'm home, I have everything. Um, Another thing, if your cost per purchase is lower than your break even point, it means you're squeezing more money out of your audience. So don't go in with this thinking that retargeting is going to make you rich. I've actually seen cold traffic do better than retargeting, which is like really, I was unexpecting it, and people won't tell you that, man. They want you to think that it's like some fucking wonderland shit, but it's really not. Um, I'm just saying if your CPP is lower than your break even point, it means you're making more money out of the traffic you're already driving. So that's good. Okay, what's going on, guys? We're back. We're back with a good little slide for you about retargeting. This is part 3. I'm calling it expert, but it's just for the show. Let's just dive right into it. So different posts that you can use. So you can use the same post, and this is talking about retargeting, by the way. If you're not watching the series, I have 2 other videos before this where I talk about things that lead up to this video. So make sure you check those out. So you can retarget people using the same post, the same exact post that you're using with cold traffic. That's like the basic one. Like that's like the easiest one to do. The one that most people do is discount post. So essentially they'll just put in the post like an extra discount code so that the second time your customer sees it, they're like, oh, hey, I can get it for cheaper now, because it makes sense, right? But same post and discount post, those are the 2 that I see used most frequently. Um, they work. Both of them work. Sometimes I see the same post work. Sometimes I see it don't. Sometimes I see discounts, and sometimes I don't see discounts work. So you really got to test them both. But really, that'll be a good base for you to start retargeting, is either just doing the same post or putting a discount in it. This more complicated stuff I wouldn't mess with until you have like a bigger audience. And if you already have a bigger audience, still focus on the same post and discount post. Just get those out there. That way you can measure which audiences are going to do the best. And then you can do your testing inside of those audiences. So the third one, using either the same copy or different copy with different image or video. So essentially, like if your main ad says, hey, buy this here with a video, your retargeting ad can say, have you seen this product? Get yours now with an image. So it's just like a different angle to hit them from. And this usually does really, really well, especially if the image or the video is something that you personally made. Like if you have your product shipped in, down the line. If you find a winning product, you should buy it for yourself just because you have the ability to take your own pictures and stuff. And you can test that with retargeting. And I do that with some of my clients, and it works out very, very well. Another one is free gift post. So it's kind of like a discount post, except this time, instead of offering like an extra 20% off, you're offering them a free gift if they purchase now. So like, let's say you're selling a watch, instead of just saying, 15% off this watch, use this code, you're basically saying buy this watch now and get a free bracelet with it, which is an offer that they didn't see before. So now they see it and it might entice them to buy again. These usually do really, really well, but the free gift has to go in line with the main product. Like it can't just be some random thing. Um, I've used this in numerous 6-figure stores. They work well. And usually, honestly, the free gift is usually cheaper than giving a discount. So if you can get that to work, you'll save, I mean, not save money, but you'll make more money, rather than doing a discount, because a free gift will cost you on AliExpress like $2 or $3, and a discount can be, 6, 7, 8, 9, depending on the price of your product. So The next one is cross-selling. So you can retarget your audience and sell other products to your retargeting audience. So very popular way to do this is DPA ads. That's basically cross-selling. If you have a certain collection, like if you're selling a watch, we'll use this example again. If you're selling a watch, you basically run retargeting ads to a different watch. And I actually did this in the first six-figure store that I grew, and it worked really well. And we were actually able to find our second and third winning products doing this. This is a very good way to find another winning product. You use the retargeting for the main campaign, and you target and you just cross sell with it. So you figure out what the audience is also interested in, rather than your main one. So this is just a list of creative audiences you can create and make money from. Maybe you might not have thought of these, you might already know, whatever. So people who viewed the page but didn't add it to their cart. So a lot of people always just target like page view, people who didn't purchase, but what about the people who viewed the page and then just bounced? Like they didn't add it to their cart, they didn't do any of that. You can retarget those people, right? So that's still an audience of people that are very valuable to you, and I've seen those audiences do really well. People who viewed the video but didn't view page, which is basically you just target the video view audience and you exclude the page view audience. Very simple. These do really, really well because it brings people who didn't previously click through on the video to click through now, which those people could be higher quality because, for one, they've already seen the video, they've already thought about the product, and a lot of them might not have just seen the link, so they might see it this time. You might want to put the link in a different place. A lot of things that you can do. The next one, people who added it to their cart but didn't go to checkout. Now, this isn't going to be like, unless your conversion rate is really, really good, this most likely isn't going to be a lot of people. Just because in my experience, most people who add it to their cart will go to checkout. So if you have like 600 add to carts, usually there's like 400, 500 checkouts too. So, I mean, but still, what I'm saying is you want those 100, 200 people in between there that added it to their cart but didn't go to checkout. Those people are still very valuable, and you're mixing them in with your other audiences. So if you can get that one to do really, really well, then you're doing good because that will do well. That will do good. People who engaged with your page but never visited your website. So this is essentially just people who liked your page, liked your post, commented on your post, shared it, reacted to it, whatever the engagement is, but they never visited your website. It's pretty self-explanatory. I've seen those do very well. People who follow your Instagram page but never purchase. So this is just you use the page engagement feature for the Instagram business profile in your audience tab, and you have an audience of people who are engaging on your Instagram page, and then you just exclude people who have ever been hit with the purchase pixel. These can do really well, especially if you're doing like viral growth hacking on Instagram. This could be a very valuable audience for you just because you're getting the people from your Instagram into a retargeting audience. So make sure you set that up. So here's a couple of strategies where you're already making money. Like this is the situation. You're already making money. You're already super profitable. These are just some things that you can do to make your dropshipping experience a little bit better. And not like better for you as a store owner and better for your customers as customers. So this is a customer appreciation ad. And I like doing these with stores that are really, really profitable just because you can invest 15, 20 bucks a day and you won't even really notice the difference just because you're already pushing so much profit. And it actually helps you out. So what you want to do is you want to create a purchase retargeting audience for the last 14 days. So this is people who purchase your product in the last 14 days. And then you want to create a post that reads something along the lines of, we appreciate you being our customer. We're here for you if you need any service. And then you can put your email or, just put a little smiley face, some emojis, whatever. And then literally just create a reach campaign, show the people to the ad like 3 times a week or whatever. And that's it. And people will see, like, imagine going to somebody's website and you purchase something and then you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you see a message. It's not an ad. You don't want to put a link in it. You're not trying to sell anything. It's literally just an ad that says, we appreciate you being our customer. We're here for you if you need any service. That's something that nobody's doing. And if you can do that, it'll just increase your customer satisfaction rate, it'll stop a lot of problems down the line. And if you have any problems, they'll probably be a lot nicer to you when they approach service. Like, I've never bought anything online and experienced anything like this, but I know some of our customers have, and it must be a really good thing, because the customer knows like they're spending money on advertising to let me know that they appreciate me. Like, that's something that nobody ever does. That's like genuinely caring. So when people see that, they don't just overlook it. They think for a minute like, wait, that's an ad, and they're literally just saying we appreciate you being our customer. Like, it'll just blow their mind. It's amazing. Um, so yeah, this is a customer service ad. I would start doing this like once you hit 750 to 1,000 purchases. um, this is just something to keep down, pissed off customers. Give them an alley to reach out, make sure that they're being taken care of. Um, so you want to make a retargeting audience of purchases over the last 60 days, and then create a post that reads something along the lines of, again, you can reword this, it doesn't really matter. Thank you for being our customer. If you have any issues, reach out to, and then put your email, your support email, and then, just say thank you. And then you want to start an engagement campaign. So you want to optimize for engagements and make sure that you have comment blockers on, because people on Facebook are the dirtiest people. Like, they will straight up swear 10 times in a sentence, and on a comment section. They're just savages. So make sure you have your comment blockers on, because it will get really, really messy and ugly if you don't. Um, reach this will reach people who have issues and motivate them to reach out, rather than going to your comment sections and saying like this company's a scam, all that shit. And it'll also just increase satisfaction. Like, if they have an avenue to reach out and they see that you're showing initiative to have them reach out to you, that'll just make a really big difference. And you might not notice it right away, but after a while, people start seeing your customer service ads. Like, nobody's doing that, so they'll feel really cared about. So this is just one more thing. I'm not going to get too in depth about this, but this is just something that I want you guys to have on your mind when you're doing retargeting, is messenger bot retargeting. So I'm not going to go too deep into this. You might not know what I'm talking about, but there's so many videos out there on messenger bots. You can just go watch those and then come back to this and you'll understand. So retarget people with a JSON ad with ManyChat. ManyChat is the company that does messenger bots. So you want to send them to a newsletter, in return for a giveaway, discount codes, special offers, whatever works for you. Usually what works for us is like a giveaway or a discount code. And then you want to grow your messenger bot list. Essentially, it's like an email list, except instead of sending emails, you're sending Facebook messages to your audience. So you basically just send them monthly broadcasts and weekly value messages, learn about your audience, learn about what they want. And if you get really good at this, you can make a lot of money. Like, most of my stores pay anywhere from like $1 to $3 per messenger bot lead. And the amount of money that we make from a broadcast to like 300 people was about $1,000. So that's like a 1x return, and that's on the first broadcast. So we'll have those people in our list for months and months and months, so we could just keep on making more money off of them. That's why I say this is a long-term move. We usually don't implement this until somebody's making 500 bucks a day profit at least, just because it's something that you're not really going to see the benefit of from it for at least a month or 2 months, really long term. But especially if you want to sell your company one day, if you have a messenger bot list of like, let's say like 10,000 people, that's going to increase the value of your company. Rather than just saying like, oh, I just have an email list. You could say I have an email list and I can send messages to 10,000 people. It's just it's just a lot more valuable, in terms of an exit strategy. And also, the reason for that is because it makes money. Like, if you know how to leverage that, you can make a lot of money from a messenger bot list. The open rates are insane, like 90 to 100% sometimes. So definitely learn how to leverage these. All right, guys, what is going on? I'm bringing back the Retargeting 101 Part 4, just making a little update on this series. If you don't know about this series, if you scroll down on my channel, or this will be in a playlist, I did a Part 1, a Part 2, and a Part 3 about 4 or 5 months ago. And I basically wanted to come in here and give a little update as to, what I'm doing differently and what still works out of that series. I know it seems like it's older, so it's a little bit outdated, but it's really not that outdated. And I'm going to be covering exactly what I mean in this video. So the one question that has came up a lot since I made that video or since I made that series is, when is a good time to start doing lookalikes? And there's basically two rules that I follow. Is for one, you can start as soon as the custom audience turns green and says that it's active. And says that it's ready. If your audience says that it's ready, you can do retargeting. So there's a difference between saying when can you start lookalikes and when should you start lookalikes. When should you? So basically, you can try it once you have a little bit over 15 sales. This is like the minimum. I wouldn't even really mess with it if I had less than this. But basically, there's a pretty good chance that it'll work if you start around 15 sales. I'd say the chances are around 25 to 30%. Doesn't really work every time. As a matter of fact, most of the time I don't see it work this early on. But it is worth testing if you're trying to make a little bit of extra money. And we'll go into like what budget you should start at and how you can maximize it when you're just starting out and you just have a little bit of traffic. Because if you only have 15 sales or a few hundred link clicks, you don't want to have like a $5 a day retargeting ad set going, because it's basically just going to like spend the money even though it's just going to spend the money even though it's only going to reach a certain amount of people. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if it doesn't work at 15 sales, I would wait until you have 40 to 50 sales. 40 to 50 sales is kind of like probably the best time to start. And usually around the time when you have 40 to 50 sales, you're making 3 to 5 sales every day. So you're already starting to see some consistency. It's already starting to grow pretty well. But even then, there is a chance that it won't work at that time. It doesn't mean that retargeting is not going to work. It just means that maybe you did it too early, or your pixel doesn't have enough momentum to optimize the right way yet. So if it still doesn't work, just keep trying every 40 sales or so. Make a new campaign, make fresh audiences, whatever you want to do, because eventually it will work. Personally, I don't really start a retargeting campaign until a certain store hits $500 days fairly consistently, and the main reason is because I want to focus on the cold traffic until we have that doing very good, and then I'll focus a little bit on the retargeting. And that's just what I see what works best for me. And any time early is almost like a waste of time for me, but maybe for you it's not, and you want to give it a shot. So we'll move on. So another question is, do all of the old strategies still work? Like all the same strategies that I described in part 1, 2, and 3. And the answer is yes, they're all very relevant. I still do them exactly the same with time frames and different posts, the different audiences and stuff. I still make all of those audiences. The only difference is the way that I introduce them. The only difference is like the order that I make them and how I scale it and stuff like that. Introducing retargeting to your ad account. Basically, I always have a separate campaign dedicated to my retargeting ad sets. Basically, this allows you to just have one campaign called retargeting, and you can do all of your retargeting in that one campaign. It's just a lot more organized, and also it allows each retargeting optimization to help each other. So when starting out, I'll start with the basic, most broad PV 180, add to cart 180, and initiate checkout 180, and all the video views in a new campaign if you're doing a video. If you're not doing a video, then just do PV, ATC, and IC. But if those work, then, or if one or two of them work, because not all of them are going to work, but maybe sometimes, but I like to add one new retargeting ad set a day. And you can keep on going with the basic audiences, or you can get into some of the strategies that I talked about in part 1, 2, and 3, where you test different time frames, different budgets, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is new, different posts, different audiences, like just testing one new thing a day just to keep your mind flowing with new ideas, and also keep having new results coming in, so that when you make a new retargeting audience, you can see what's working and then add on to that, and eventually you'll just have a bunch of retargeting ad sets working. And I actually did this, and I got a single store generating about $700 a day in sales, around $400 a day in profit of just retargeting ad sets. That wasn't even including the cold traffic. So doing this can definitely make you more money. So this is one thing that I have learned between the time that I made the first 3 parts and now. And it's kind of something that I learned on accident. Like I was kind of paying attention to the way that audiences were spending and the way that cost per purchase were affected by retargeting. And basically I learned that 99% of the time, retargeting will spend your full budget no matter how many people see the ad. I used to just set it to $5 a day and just let it spend, but I wasn't really paying attention. Like, I'm spending $5 to get in front of 100 people, which doesn't make sense. So I started doing the math. I wanted to know how many people does $1 reach in my retargeting campaign on average, just an average number. And I see across the board, across most stores that I grow, you reach about 100 people for $1, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And I find that to be average. And let's say that that's for your page view 180 audience. Okay, so if you're only getting 100 link clicks a day, it doesn't make sense to have more than a $1 a day budget on that single ad set. And the reason is because you're getting 100 new people into the audience every day, and if you spend $1 a day on your retargeting, it's plenty to show your retargeting ad to everybody new who comes into that audience. Now, that's just to cover it one time, but if you want, you can put the budget to $2, and then that's enough money to show it to each people in the audience 2 times a day, which is really good. And this is kind of like a metric that I use to keep the cost per purchases down. And especially in the beginning, I see really, really low cost per purchases on ad sets that have a budget of $1 or $2, just because it's not spending the full 5. It's reaching the same amount of people. It's just spending less money. And this example goes for the same way, just opposite. If you're getting 3,000 link clicks a day, it would be better to have a budget of 25 to 30 per day. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but it's the perfect amount to reach one new person every day, which essentially is what we want retargeting to do. But if you have your budget at 30 per day and you're only getting 100 link clicks a day, a big percentage of the amount of time, it's going to spend 30 even if it only reaches 100 people. And this is kind of what I noticed, and I noticed that if I just spent the right amount for the right amount of people, my cost per purchases would go be really low, because it's just limiting the amount that I spend, but it's reaching the same amount of people. So understanding that, we can take a look at this and saying, when you're starting out with retargeting, using lower budgets can increase your average ROAS by a lot, mainly because you're not getting a ton of traffic. So when I start out with retargeting, I usually start with lower budgets, $2 or $3, depending on what time I'm starting out, how many clicks I'm getting a day, how many add to carts I'm getting a day, stuff like that. And then using higher budgets as your audience fill up faster can increase the amount of volume your retargeting pushes. So in this example, if you're getting 3,000 link clicks a day, you wouldn't just want one ad set spending $5 a day, because that's only going to reach 500 to 600 people. But if you try retargeting at $30 per day, the cost per purchase could be the same, because it's able to reach 3,000 people and get its full money's worth, which means it's just going to push more volume and make you more money. So understanding this kind of puts the average ROAS of your campaigns a lot higher. And this is something that I didn't include in the 1, 2, and 3, in the part 1, 2, and 3, because I didn't know it yet. I just kind of figured this out in the past 4 or 5 months or so. So I definitely wanted to come in here and give you guys a little update on how retargeting is doing, if you can still use the Retargeting 101 series to learn about this stuff. And the answer is yes, it's still very relevant, and I hope that this provided a really good update. If you like this video and you got good value out of it, or if you like the series, leave a like, drop a comment, make sure that you subscribe. But as for this video, this is Noah Brewer, and I'm out. Peace.